Welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap that time I got reincarnated as a slime. The story begins with an office worker named Mikami Satoru. When he is with his co-worker Tamura, suddenly a criminal with a sharp weapon headed towards them. Satoru immediately protected Tamura, and this resulted in him being stabbed. As his body bleeds, he hears a mysterious voice telling him he has acquired various skills. Satoru wanted to stop feeling the pain from his stab wound. The voice told him he got the temperature change and resistance skill to withstand electric current, get a body immune to pain and a body that doesn't need blood. Before he died, he hoped that Tamura could be happy with his girlfriend. He regrets that he died as a virgin and had no girlfriend for 37 years. Because of that, he hopes that if reborn, he will be more aggressive in pursuing women. The voice said that Satoru has two unique skills, Predator and Skill Great Sage. When he regained consciousness in the dark, he discovered he had been reincarnated as a slime. He spent his time eating all the rare plants and precious seeds there. After touring the cave, he encountered the storm dragon Veldora. Veldora had been sealed in that cave for 300 years by the human hero. They talked to each other through telepathy. Veldora taught him to see by feeling the magic energy around, so he could see the objects around him and was surprised that Veldora was a dragon. He is initially intimidated, but they become friends as they talk long enough. Because Veldora had been lonely for 300 years, he intended to liberate Veldora from the unique skill of eternal prison. Before that, they gave each other names to carve equality in their souls. Veldora was named Tempest or Veldora Tempest, while the slimes were named Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru would help Veldora find a way to break the seal by swallowing his body and using his predator skill to break the seal from both sides. On that day, the entire world was shaken due to the disappearance of the storm dragon Veldora. After that, Rimuru went around the cave while eating plants and minerals. He also got various skills that were useful in battle. Rimuru also defeated and swallowed many monsters, so Rimuru gained many skills and could speak. Rimuru exited the cave after a group of human adventurers opened the entrance. Then Rimuru meets a group of goblins who want to ask him for help. Rimuru is brought to the goblin village and meets the goblin leader there. They call Rimuru a powerful being because he has a terrible aura. The goblin leader asks for help to protect them from a pack of wolves. Veldora had protected the goblin village before, but due to Veldora's disappearance, the monsters in the great forest of Jura became chaotic, causing the goblin village to be destroyed because other monsters attacked it. Rimuru will fulfill their wish, and since then, Rimuru has become the leader and protector of the goblins. Rimuru made a plan together with the goblins to defeat the wolf pack. Their fighting strength was extremely weak, and several goblins had been seriously injured from the previous battle. Rimuru immediately healed them using recovery medicine. At night, the wolves intend to attack the goblin village. Teaming up with the goblins, Rimuru fought the wolf pack and managed to kill their leader. Rimuru devoured the wolves while using intimidation skills to force them to surrender. The next day, Rimuru asked the goblins, along with the wolves, to stay together. Even Rimuru gave them all names. They were overjoyed to be able to get a name from Rimuru. The head of the goblins was named Rigurd, and his son Rigger. Meanwhile, the new wolf leader was named Ranga Tempest. After giving them names, Rimuru suddenly lost consciousness and fainted for 3 days. He didn't know that giving names to monsters drained his magic energy. When he realized a beautiful woman was welcoming him, it turned out that the monsters would evolve to become stronger if they were given a name. As the number of villagers increased, Rimuru made rules to stay out of trouble.
1つ、人間を襲わない。2つ、仲間内で争わない。3つ、他種族を見下さない。
Realizing that the goblins lacked the skills to make houses and clothing, Rimuru and a small group headed to Dwargen City to seek help from dwarf artisans. After 3 days, they arrived at Dwargen. Rimuru was very excited to go there because there were beautiful elves in that city. In front of the gate, Rimuru with Datta fought with thugs. Rimuru turned into Ranga to chase them away.
俺のターンだな。
The effect of the intimidation skill caused many people to flee in fear and faint because they had made a mess of the guards, throwing them into prison. The guard got the news that his friends were seriously injured in the mines, knowing that Rimuru offered healing potions to him. The elixir helped them a lot, and they thanked Rimuru. Rimuru was finally released from prison after giving the potion. He is introduced to a blacksmith named Kaijin. He thanks Rimuru for helping his friends. Kaijin was going to help Rimuru, but right now, he was busy making magic swords for the royal minister and lacked magical stones. It just so happened that Rimuru had stored up a lot of magical stones, so he gave them to Kaijin as long as he could make a house and clothes for the goblins. Even though they already had magical stones, they couldn't make 20 magic swords in time. Rimuru used his predatory skill to analyze the magic swords inside his body and copied them for 20 swords. They were all surprised to see Rimuru's prowess. They wanted to celebrate at the elf bar. There were many beautiful elf girls in that place. So Rimuru was very happy to enjoy the tenderness of beautiful girls' boobs. Rimuru felt that he was in heaven and wanted to stay there. But the fun time can't go on because of trouble coming its way. The fortune teller elf decided to predict someone who would be destined for Rimuru. She showed a beautiful girl who looked like a Japanese. Then came a minister who ordered the sword earlier called Vesta. He came insulting Rimuru and spilt a drink on him. Kaijin got angry and punched Vesta, causing her to faint. As a result of that, Rimuru, Kaijin and the others were imprisoned for hitting the royal minister. Kaijin said that he wanted to work with Rimuru. Even 3 of Kaijin's friends also wanted to come with him. Of course, Rimuru was very happy because he was able to get hold of such a great craftsman. The next day they were brought to court and met the hero king of the dwarf named Gazel Dwargo. When he first met, Rimuru was sure Gazel was strong. When the trial begins, Vesta tries to increase the crimes committed by Kaijin. He even bribed someone to increase their sentence. It turns out that Kaijin used to be a troop commander and Gazel acknowledged his prowess. Hence Gazel asked him to return to serve him and become the squad commander. Unfortunately, Kaijin refused that because he had sworn to serve Rimuru. So Gazel punishes him, and Kaijin and his friends are exiled from the Dwargen kingdom. Afterwards, Kaijin and the others left and headed to the goblin village with Rimuru. On the other hand, Gazel shows Rimuru's full potion to Vesta, but unexpectedly that full potion is very rare and precious. Gazel was angry at him for ruining the excellent relationship with Rimuru. Vesta is sorry for her actions that have disappointed Gazel. He just wants to be of use to the king. But his envy of Kaijin has made him betray Gazel's expectations. Afterwards, Gazel realized Rimuru was a powerful monster like the storm dragon Veldora. Hence he sent someone to keep an eye on Rimuru. On the other hand, a group of adventurers reported to the guild leader that Veldora had disappeared from the cave. Then he gave them a new assignment to investigate the great forest of Jura. Before they went there was a girl who wanted to go with them, that girl named Shizu. Rimuru and Kaijin arrived at the goblin village. While Rimuru was away, goblins from other villages gathered there. Rimuru allowed them to live there as long as they got along well with the other races and didn't mess up. Rimuru also named them, so he went back to sleep for 3 days. A few days later, the adventurers arrived at the great forest of Jura but were chased by fire ants. Shizu tried to fight them off with a flame sword and defeated the monster. She suddenly felt such pain that she almost got attacked by the monster. Rimuru finished off the remaining monsters and returned Shizu's mask. When he saw Shizu's face, Rimuru confirmed that she was the girl he was fated to be with. After that, they were brought to the goblin village and given food to rest. Knowing Rimuru was the leader in the village made them distrust and suspect Rimuru, but he said that he wasn't a bad slime. In the afternoon, Rimuru met Shizu. She said that Rimuru's previous words came from a game. Thus she confirmed that Rimuru was also from another world reincarnated as a slime. Meanwhile, Shizu was born during the World War. When her city was attacked, suddenly a big fire enveloped her and took her to another world. She was summoned to that world through a ritual performed by a demon lord Leon. He saw Shizu as a failed ritual, so he made Shizu the vessel of the fire spirit Ifrit. Shizu remembered her sadness when Ifrit was in her body. Shizu used to have good friends, and they always played together. But one day, the Ifrit in her body overtook her consciousness and killed her friend and the little monster they named. When Shizu woke up, she tried to hold back Ifrit's power not to kill her friends again. Feeling that her body could no longer withstand Ifrit's power, she intended to go on an adventure alone. Then as Shizu was preparing to leave the village, Ifrit suddenly took over her consciousness and set the village on fire. Rimuru asks Rigard to evacuate the residents to a safe place while he and the other adventurers will fight Ifrit. Rimuru's water knife attack doesn't work, but Iren's ice magic attack injures the fire monster. Seeing that, Rimuru asked Iren to shoot the magic at him. With the predatory skill, Rimuru could copy the ice magic spell. Rimuru immediately cast ice magic to slay the fire monsters. As the flame explosion badly injured the adventurers, Rimuru had Ranga take them to safety. Meanwhile, he will fight Ifrit alone. Rimuru thought he would die from being hit by a fire attack, but it turns out he has heat resistance. Then Rimuru devours Ifrit with predatory skills to separate it from Shizu's body.
Unique skill.
Yes!
Ifrit is trapped in Rimuru's stomach, where he encounters the storm dragon Veldora. Shizu told about her past to Rimuru. She had also met a hero. The hero saved Shizu and showed her the right path. They went on adventures together for several years, but one day, the hero suddenly disappeared, giving Shizu a mask that could suppress power. From then on, Shizu decided to become stronger until adventurers recognized her. She has been nicknamed the Conqueror of Fire. As her body began to age, she retired from adventurers and became a teacher at a school in the kingdom of Ingracia. Her students were children who came from another world. Then Shizu told him her real name was Izawa Shizue. Feeling that her life is ending, Shizu asks Rimuru to convey her last wish to Leon, and she hoped that Rimuru could save the students at Ingracia School. Shizu also asked Rimuru to eat it because she didn't want her body buried in that world she didn't like. Rimuru promised to fulfill all her wishes so that Shizu would rest peacefully in Rimuru's body.
リムルテンペストの名において、魔王レオン・クロムウェルにきっちりとあなたの思いをぶつけてやるよ。
After that, Rimuru got a human form similar to Shizu. Rimuru explained everything to the three adventurers. The adventurers thanked and bid Shizu farewell through Rimuru's human form. Before they left, Rimuru presented them with good equipment. They were happy to receive it because a skilled craftsman made the equipment. Rimuru had inherited Veldora's will and a girl's feelings and form, so he had a new purpose in that world. When Rimuru decided to find information about Leon to fulfill his promise to Shizu, a masked man named Jelmud recruited an orc named Geld. He intended to make him conquer the great forest of Jura and become Orc Disaster. Rimuru village and the goblins were well developed. The dwarf had built houses, furniture, and battle equipment. Rimuru confirmed that his human body had a sense of taste so he could experience the pleasures of food.
いっぱい食べたらおっぱいも育つっすかね。
Gobta and Rigor are going to hunt animals so they can have a party at night. Rigor also said many monster beasts were in the forest, so the prey was plentiful. But Rimuru felt something had happened in the forest, so he asked Ranga to accompany Rigor and the others. Meanwhile, Rimuru headed into the cave to test the skill received from Shizu. Unique skill degradation can combine various skills to evolve and produce new skills so that he can get new abilities easily.
何これえげつない
エクストラスキル黒煙です。
Rimuru also tried out a mask with magic resistance. When Rimuru wore it, his magic aura could be completely disguised. So Rimuru could disguise himself as a human to head to the human kingdom. Then suddenly, he received a request for help from Ranga via thought communication. Rimuru rushed there and found his friends facing 6 ogres. One said that the masked devil and the orc race had destroyed his village. They thought that Rimuru was one of their village's attackers. Rimuru tried to talk to them, but they refused and attacked him. Rimuru had no choice but to fight them all. He could easily take out so many ogres until only 3 were left. One of them managed to slash Rimuru's hand. Because they were strong enough, Rimuru started getting serious and showing his strength. After seeing Rimuru's strength, they realized that Rimuru wasn't the one who attacked their village. Ogre's young master apologized for the misunderstanding. Since the situation had calmed down, Rimuru invited them to the village to hear about their troubles. Rimuru could experience the pleasures of food in that world for the first time. He was pleased to be able to have his human body. Meanwhile, Kaijin and the others heard stories about an army of orcs attacking an ogre village. The ogre young master confirmed that the mastermind behind the attack was the masked demon, so he had mistaken Rimuru for one of them. The ogre village had been destroyed by the attack until only the 6 of them remained. Rimuru suggested that they should become his subordinates to increase combat power. Because there was a possibility that the orc army would also attack the goblin village, the ogre young master decided to think about that first. The next day the young master agreed to the previous offer and Rimuru would give them a name. After giving it a name, Rimuru suddenly fainted. After realizing there were 2 beautiful girls near Rimuru, it turned out that they were ogres who had evolved into Kitchen. Benimaru, Hakiru, Shuna, Shun, Sawe, and Kurobe. Meanwhile, an army of 200,000 orcs walked towards the lizardman's residence. Knowing the number of orc troops, the leader of the lizardman indicated that the enemy's leader would be a fearsome legendary monster called an orc lord. If that happened, the lizardman could not defeat the orc army. He asked his son Gabiru to get help from the other monsters. On the other hand, Hakiru trains Gopta and the others to become stronger, while Benimaru tells Rimuru about the orc lord. Then suddenly, Sawe announced that there was an army of lizardmen heading towards their village. Shin became Rimuru's secretary and always accompanied Rimuru around the village. Shin also prepared food, knowing those there immediately left and didn't want to eat Shin's food. It turns out that Shin can't cook. The dishes she makes are like poison mud that can kill someone. Rimuru asked the great sage for help to save him from certain death. After Gabiru arrived at Rimuru's village, he suggested Rimuru and others be his subordinates to fight against the orc army. Gabiru was so proud of himself and insulted Rimuru that it pissed them off. Ranga had wanted to kill Gabiru, but Gopta came to meet them, so Gopta was asked to duel against Gabiru. Unexpectedly, Gopta could use the shadow technique and managed to defeat Gabiru quickly. In the end, the lizardman army decided to retreat. In the evening, Rimuru and the others discussed strategies to fight against the orc army. They confirmed that the enemy's leader was an orc lord, and even there was a possibility that the demon king was behind it. Then a dryad named Trainee appeared to meet them, and he asked Rimuru, the ruler of monsters, to defeat the orc lord. The orc lord has a unique skill, Insatiable. He can affect all of his armies. They will eat whatever is in front of them and can even eat the victim's ability and make it their strength. Accepting Trainee's request, Rimuru sent Sawe to negotiate with the lizardmen to ally. Sawe meets with the leader of the lizardmen. He conveys that their leader, Rimuru, wants to ally with the lizardmen and explains that Rimuru has received a direct request from the dryad to defeat the orc lord. Hearing that, everyone there was surprised because Rimuru accepted the request from the Guardian of the Great Forest. So leader Lizardman agreed to the alliance, but they had to wait for Rimuru's troops to arrive within 7 days. The leader of the Lizardmen urged his troops not to engage in battle with the orcs until Rimuru's army arrived. On the other hand, Gabiru, having been deceived by the words of the masked demon named Laplace, Gabiru intends to usurp the position of chief and lead the Lizardman army to attack the orc army head-on. At first, Gabiru's plan went smoothly, but he was unaware of the Orc Lord's true power. Rimuru and the others head towards the Lizardman tribe, while Sui finds the head guard Lizardman fighting a group of orcs. After saving her, Rimuru healed him with a full potion. She explained that Gabiru and the rebels had imprisoned the Lizardman leader, even now that Gabiru had started a battle with the orc army. Then they allied and immediately headed to the battlefield. On the other hand, Trainee encountered Laplace with Gelmud. She immediately launched an attack towards them. Even though they managed to injure Laplace's hand, they immediately ran away. One of Lizardman's soldiers had been devoured by the orc troop, leaving them covered in scales and webbed feet. With that, the movement of the orcs accelerated and succeeded in encircling Gabiru's troops. Then the orc general appears, challenging Gabiru to fight. Gabiru continues to launch attacks many times, but the orc general easily fends it off. When Gabiru was almost killed, Gopta and Ranga came to save him. Also, Benimaru and the others started casting black fire magic to slay the orc army. They were also very grateful to Rimuru for allowing them to kill the orc army with their strength. Meanwhile, Ranga became angry that the orc general belittled them, so he unleashed a storm of death and black lightning to annihilate all the orc troops in front of him. In an instant, the orc troops had been reduced, while Sui had managed to save the Lizardman tribe. It was surprised to see that Sui could beat the orcs so easily. Rimuru's army destroyed Gelmud's plan. He became enraged and started flying towards the battlefield. Meanwhile, Rimuru had found the Orc Lord and was preparing to enter the final battle. Gelmud came to meet them. He had given names to various monster races to become food for the Orc Lord. He wanted to make the Orc Lord the new Demon Lord, but Rimuru's forces ruined his plans. Seeing that Gabiru was almost dead, Rimuru came to protect him and gave him a full potion. After that, Rimuru beat Gelmud so he could tell who ordered him to do such a thing. Feeling unable to win, he ordered Geld to save him. But Geld instead killed and ate Gelmud, so he evolved into the Demon Lord Orc Disaster. Rimuru felt that it would be a big disaster if he didn't kill him now. Shin and Hakiru launched a joint attack until they decapitated him. But he had an extraordinary recovery skill. Even though he was injured from an attack from Benimaru along with Ranga, he can recover his strength by eating his comrades. Rimuru asked the Great Sage to activate the auto battle mode. After which the Great Sage took over Rimuru's body to fight against the Orc Disaster. Rimuru found a way to defeat him. They fought by devouring each other, resulting in Rimuru's victory as he pacified Geld and was about to devour his entire body along with the sins he committed. So Geld felt at ease and thanked Rimuru for freeing him from starvation. After the defeat of the Orc Disaster, the effects of the famine disappeared, so the attack of the orcs was now over, and that is the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like this video, so see you in the next video.